My husband admits I am ugly. I am an unattractive woman, objectively. I've always been this way, and while I have accustomed myself to it, it nonetheless remains a daily fact that being an ugly woman sucks. I met my husband 4 years ago, and he is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. He's always and frequently told me I'm beautiful, and somehow sounded honest, without sounding like my mother, as in like someone without another option to answer. Last night, on Saturday, he had a group of friends over to our home. They meet several times a month to hang out, catch up, and play games. He's known most of these guys since high school. I was upstairs in the kitchen preparing drinks and snacks, and I was able to hear them in the basement and began to eavesdrop, which I know is rude, but it wasn't really intentional. I realized they were talking about me. A couple of guys were teasing my husband about me, specifically about my looks. I could tell it was supposed to be funny, but it was not. There was a point where one of them referred to me as a troll, and my husband blew up and started shouting, "Listen, shut the frick up. I know that she's ugly, but shut up. She makes me happy. Does your bimbo of the week do that, Jim? Dave, how long's it been since we've hung out and you haven't complained about your wife?" He went on for a while defending me, but all I could hear was, "I know she's ugly, I know she's ugly, I know she's ugly," again and again in my head. It just broke me. I don't know why. I've always known that I'm unattractive, but he isn't supposed to. He tells me I'm beautiful so sincerely and consistently, I started to actually believe he thought that. I started to cry and ran into a shower so no one could hear me. When I came out an hour later, everyone had gone home, far earlier than normal. I went to bed and then haven't spoken to him all day today, but I think I've been able to avoid letting him know I'm upset or avoiding him. I know rationally that what he said was true and sweet, and that I should be happy he loves me and not my body, but it doesn't seem to matter. I just want to be pretty. God, I feel so shallow. I've been crying all day. What do I say to him? Part of me wants to call him a liar, to scream and yell and cry, while the other part just wants to run away and never have to talk to him again, and acknowledge that even the greatest man I will ever meet can't find me attractive. Alright then, so let's get straight into the update that was posted just a couple of days later. As you guys can probably imagine, the comments on this post were amazing. So much positivity. Anyway, here we go. First off, I'd just like to say thanks. Just wow. Over the last 2 days, I've had literally hundreds of messages and PMs. You guys rock. Seriously, look at that thread. That's got to have one of the best positivity and sweetness to meanness and jerks ratios on all of Reddit like ever. You guys knocked it out of the park for me. I'm still trying to figure out why. So, yesterday, after getting a barrage of support from you guys on my phone every couple of minutes, non-stop, all day, I decided to try and confront my husband over what I'd heard. After we were both home from work, I told him I needed to talk. I told him I'd overheard him and his friends, and he immediately started to apologize for them, saying they were jerks and buttholes and that I should have told him that I'd heard. I had to stop him to let me get a word in and tell him it wasn't his friends so much as it was what he said. When I told him what he said, his whole tone changed. I could tell he wasn't expecting to be blamed. I'd had the whole conversation planned out. I wanted to explain how it made me feel, how I thought he really was attracted to me, and how betrayed it made me feel to hear him like that behind my back. But I just started to cry, and I couldn't really communicate what I wanted to say very well. He was awesome though, and just held me, and then after a minute started to speak like he was reading right out of the nicest comments in the original thread, telling me he was just angry and didn't speak very well, that he really does find me attractive, even if the world doesn't and his friends don't. I calmed down pretty quickly. I basically cried myself out the day before. He took me to his computer and showed me an email he sent to all of his friends on Sunday. I wish I could copy and paste it now, but he basically called all his friends jerks, said they crossed the line from good-natured trash talk to just being buttholes, and then continued, going far beyond. He said that for the time indefinite, they'd have to find another host. They were no longer welcome in my home. He actually said my wife's home. Now I thought that might make it sound as if I was ordering him around, being a little dog, but he said he just wanted to emphasize how wrong what they were doing was. Seeing him stand up for me again made me happy, especially seeing him do it without talking bad about me, helping me believe it really was just the heat of the moment, bad word choice. He told me to wait in the room and left, coming back with a folder. He said he was going to give me this for Christmas, but that he'd get me something else. I tried to say no, but he insisted. It was plane tickets and brochures. He set up a trip in early January to this spa hotel resort thing in British Columbia. It was pretty mind-blowing, but I realized that it had to be several $1,000s that he'd spent. We budget pretty thoroughly. He shouldn't have been able to spend that without me noticing. I asked where he got the money, and he said he'd been planning this for more than a year and saving all the money assigned to his weekly spending money, collecting where I wouldn't notice, change from groceries, etc. When I say that sometimes I'm not sure I deserve him, understand that I'm not having a crisis I need help dealing with. He's just really awesome. He's taking me out for dinner, so I have to go, but I'll be on again tonight. And there we go. That is the end of that one. I think it's pretty clear from everything that's happened outside of this one comment and just, all the context of your relationship and what a man this is, that this was just one heat of the moment thing that he didn't really mean to say. And yeah, look, obviously it sucks to hear that, but I don't think he meant it in the way that it came across. I do have to say though, what sort of person goes to your friend's house and just starts saying, yeah, by the way, your wife is a troll, like just looks so ugly? What sort of friend do you have to be to say that? I do love your husband's response to the gym though. Does your bimbo of the week do that? I mean, just great. Sit him in his place. Good stuff. Overall, it's clear that your husband really is a great guy, and this was just one heat of the moment thing. You know what? You're right. You don't deserve him. Why would I say that? I saw my husband and my sister naked in my kitchen. I can't move. If I move, it becomes real, and I have to accept what I saw and think of what's next. I came in from work early and saw my sister's car, thinking maybe she was dropping off some food from her job. But no, I walk in and see my husband and sister naked in my kitchen. The kitchen I paid for. As soon as I registered what I saw, I got in my car and left. I kept driving, just driving until I found the hotel I'm at now. I don't want to believe it. I don't know what to do. My sister, my only family, and my best friend, the one who's supposed to be there for me and support me. My husband, my person, my other half, the one who's supposed to love and respect me. The two most important people in my life have ruined everything. I blocked them both on my phone. I don't want to hear any of the BS excuses they'll come up with. I don't want to confront this. I want to go back to this morning when everything was fine. Wow, what a start to this one. Then a couple of days later, we get this update. I didn't think I needed to explicitly say this, but by naked, I meant they were butt naked and screwing in the kitchen. I admit mentioning that I pay for the kitchen was odd and kind of funny, but anyone that knows me knows that the kitchen is my pride and joy. So yes, when I saw my sister and husband screwing in my kitchen, it stuck with me. And yes, they did see me. When I got to the hotel, I cried for a few hours, and then I just wanted to tell someone, anyone. The two people I would talk to when something happened in my life were the two I needed to talk about, and it was 11 something in the evening, so I wasn't going to disrupt my friends' evenings and burden them. So instead I came to Reddit thinking that not many would see it. The response I received was overwhelming. I want to say thank you to everyone that sent me kind words and advice. Thank you so much for all the virtual hugs. I know I only commented once, it's because I had so much to think about and do. I appreciate all the love and support. There was so much amazing advice given in the comments. Although a lot of it was American based, I'd still appreciate it. But one thing I did see a lot was to unblock them and keep the texts and calls as evidence, so I did do that. After posting and another good cry, I knew that I had to get myself together. I didn't have my sister or any family to help, so I had to do it myself. I started researching what my next steps were. In the morning, my friend called me, saying my sister contacted her, wondering if I'd been in contact with her. I told her what happened, and she very kindly offered her spare room and her day off work to help me sort stuff out. I called in sick at my job, and my friend helped get things done. I got in contact with my friend who works at a bank, and she helped me start sorting my financials. My friend also found me a lawyer to consult with. After my phone consultation with the lawyer, I was so overwhelmed. I now know why so many women don't divorce their cheating husbands. It's such a lengthy, expensive, and emotionally draining process. I fortunately make a stable income and can support myself, and we fortunately don't have kids. I have to remember that things aren't going to happen in one day. It will all take time. As for the house, unfortunately his parents did buy it for us, and to be honest, after what I saw, I don't want it. I'll try and get reimbursed for my beloved kitchen, otherwise it can burn for all I care. This has been super draining, but I knew I had to talk to them. I already knew there was no coming back for my husband, and when I checked his messages, they are exactly what I thought they would say. I'm sorry, it's not what it looks like, we didn't mean for it to happen, please come home, I love you, blah blah blah. Just absolute BS. A small part of me thought maybe I could find it in me to forgive my sister, as we only have each other. But after I opened her messages, all hope was lost. She used the same excuses we heard our father use when he cheated on our mother and beat us. She said the same things our mother would say when she would excuse our dad's behavior and also beat us. I spoke to her this morning and asked her to tell me straight up who, what, where, when, and why. She told me back in July when I went on a girls' trip, she was at our house and joked to my husband that I would cheat on him on the girls' trip because that's what always happens. He said nah, and they joked about it, but she said he could get even with me, and they ended up doing it once. One time led to 2 to 3, then to whenever they could do it. There was never any evidence or signs of anything that I was going to or even thinking of cheating. I told her we were done, and there was nothing she could do to bring us back together. I later received a call from an unknown number. It was my mother, who I haven't spoken to in 7 years. It turns out my sister has been in contact with her and told her what had happened, and my POS mother, the same woman who beat me for breathing wrong, had the audacity to say that this is what I get for taking her daughters away from her. It hurts so much. I know things are going to get messier and this is going to be a long few years. I've now lost all my blood relations. I need to get on my stuff and find a new place. I want to show them that I can and I will thrive without them. Again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all the love and advice. All the people in the comments that could relate to me, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this one, guys. So sad. The 2 people in your life that you trust the most, I presume, and that are the closest people to you, do this to you behind your back. And your sister is the one that kind of instigated in the first place. And I'm not trying to give your husband an excuse here. I mean, clearly he was involved. That tends to be how it works. But yeah, the fact that she was like, oh, my sister, your wife, is almost definitely cheating on you when there was no evidence of that at all, shows how horrible she really is. Wow. I think you're just so much better without them both. Like, yeah, you're right. It's going to be a horrible few years for you, but you don't want to spend the rest of your life with people like this in your life that were doing this behind your back, preemptively cheating on you because they think, oh, you might be cheating on me. That is ridiculous. Just absolutely insane. And honestly, it's a good thing it happened now, because imagine it happens in 10, 15 years when you have a whole family, children, you know, you're tied down to this man for the rest of your life and there's nothing you can really do. At least it happened now and you can get out and kind of restart your life. Yes, it's going to be horribly hard, but at least you're young enough to where it won't completely ruin everything.